to be tired of hearing from me and seeing me up here today. Normally it doesn't roll like this. So as you guys can tell, things are a little different. We didn't have Connect, so we're all meeting in here. And if you didn't hear earlier, we're going to change things up tonight. It's going to kind of be like a throwback of what we used to do last year, which is that first hour is games, fun time, all that cool stuff. And then that last hour, you guys are going to get to go into life groups. Okay? So we really, really love to have every single one of you guys here tonight to hang out with us if you have not been to life groups before. It's a really, really, really cool time. Okay? And so we're going back into this series that we started last week, which was called Family Feud. And so we talked last week about patience and how we have to be patient with our families. And Winston challenged us and said that you can be patient with your families. And so we talked about how they can annoy us sometimes and hurt us and all that. And so today, we're going to talk about forgiveness. Because we know that our families can hurt us, and the one thing that all of us have in common is that our families are all made up of imperfect people. And so that includes you guys. And I'm sure if we talk to every single person in your family, they're probably going to say you have some things about you that's probably not perfect. If you talk to my family, they're going to say exactly the same thing. My wife is here, she'll tell you, I do things all the time that are stupid, okay, and that are not perfect, and that upset everybody and cause a little bit of a feud or whatever in the house from time to time. And so we're going to throw a poll real quick. We're going to have our hands up here in a minute. And one, when I ask these questions, one will mean you would let that roll off your back. You're not worried about it. That wouldn't even be anything worth forgiving. 5 means it's unforgivable, okay? So anything in between is something like that. And so I'm going to ask a series of questions really quick. And after I do, raise it up from 1 to 5, how difficult this scenario would be for you to forgive. So here will be the first question. If someone does not show up to something that is important to you, so this could be birthday party, this could be something that you really want them to be at, your game, whatever. How difficult would it be for you to forgive someone for not showing up? Hands up, give me a number. Some of you guys are pretty forgiving of that, okay? I see this. That looks good. 2s and 3s. I haven't seen any 5s. Nobody finds, oh, okay. Unforgivable. Preston says it's unforgivable if you don't show up to his birthday party. Remember that. Okay, second question. You have $5 sitting on your dresser. You know this person that walked in has been the only person that's been in your room other than you, and that $5 is missing. How difficult will it be for you to forgive this person who took your $5? Don't mess with people's money, apparently. Everybody in here says it's unforgivable. 1, okay, nice. If someone, okay, here's the last thing. If you have a friend, if somebody's very, very close to you, and they betray you in this way, they tell somebody that you like, if it's a boy or girl that you like, something that is not very good about you, they're throwing shade at you. How difficult is it for you to forgive someone in this scenario? There's some 5s, lots of 5s. Okay, this is an unforgivable offense. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Good job. So we have a lot of different people that view a lot of these things, these different scenarios in completely different ways. Okay, some people find some things to be unforgivable. Some people let that stuff roll completely off their back. And one thing that we could probably all agree on is that forgiveness is not always the easiest thing for us. And so before we kick off and we get really into this, I want to fully disclose 2 things really quick before we get into this, because my first priority is going to be to protect you guys. So here it is. 2 things I need you guys to remember before we dig a little deeper into this. First thing is this. There is a difference. There is a difference in someone that hurts our feelings or annoys us or does something like that. There's a difference in that and somebody putting you in danger, okay? So when we talk about forgiveness today, we're not talking about something where you're in a really terrible situation. If you're in a really terrible situation, you can share that with somebody in here. But that's the first thing, okay, is that there's a difference in our feelings being hurt and being put in danger. And the second thing is this: forgiving someone does not necessarily mean that you have to continue to let that person hurt you in the same way. So what I mean by that is this, is that you can extend forgiveness to that person. You can extend forgiveness to this family member, but at the same time, start creating some boundaries so that they don't continue to hurt you in that same way. Okay, so those are the 2 things. I know this is a pretty heavy way to start it, but I just wanted to get that out really quick so that way there was no confusion when we start talking about forgiveness, because forgiveness can sometimes be a somewhat confusing topic, okay? So our families, at some point, I think if you haven't had it already, at some point somebody's going to hurt your feelings, somebody's going to hurt you, somebody's going to upset you, they're going to disappoint you in some way. And so I want to share a story with you guys, and this is something that happened to me fairly recently. About 3 months ago, my brother was living with my family. And so he was living in my basement. He needed a place to go for a temporary time, and so we let him move in with us. And so my brother's living in the basement for like 4 months, and you don't really know someone very well until they live with you, right? And so I have this guy, we grew up together, we lived in the same house, but things are different once you go into adulthood. So I have my brother living in my basement, and so he's constantly nagging me, okay? He's coming upstairs, wanting to start stuff with me constantly. He's on my nerves. He starts trying to discipline my kids. He does these weird things, right? And so when he moves out, I could not wait. I couldn't wait. I remember looking at Maggie and telling her, I'm like, as soon as Reigns is gone, I'm done. That's it. I'm not going to talk to him anymore. I'm finished speaking to Reigns. I want nothing to do with him. Yes, he's my brother, but guess what? I don't really like him that much. Okay? So we grew really a lot of tension in our relationship during this period of time. So when he moved out, I did exactly that. I didn't speak to him for a really, really long time. And see, at first, I thought that not talking to him was going to make me feel like I was in control of that situation, or not speaking and holding on to this unforgiveness was actually going to make me feel better. But here's the truth. It didn't. And so I want to tell you guys this too, because I never ever want to be up here preaching to you guys about something that I'm not doing myself. So while I was getting ready for this sermon, I started thinking, I was like, man, I want to share a story about a time a family member hurt me or upset me or disappointed me or did something. And I started thinking immediately to that situation. And I started thinking to myself, how am I going to get up and talk about forgiveness of family if I'm not doing that? And so I still, at this moment last week, had not gotten over the whole thing with my brother. And so I remember messing around and writing on this sermon and going, I got to stop. And I made a phone call, and I called him that day. And we talked for like an hour and a half. And I remember letting go of all of this bent-up tension between us and just finally extending actual forgiveness to him. And I remember the feeling of relief that I felt. I remember feeling relief because at this point, up until that point last week, I had not forgiven my brother for all of the weird stuff that happened while he was living in my house. And so last week, I did that. I forgave Rance. And I can tell you guys this. It was relief. Because when we do not forgive those in our family, it hurts us. It weighs heavy on us. And it does another thing. It takes that relationship that you have with that person in your family, and it continues to make you guys distant from each other. And I know this because there was a moment in that relationship where we kept growing further and further apart. And I realized now that I was not okay. I was not okay, and I wasn't okay with the way things were going in that situation. It cost us something, and it cost them something. So God calls us to forgive. And so I want to share a couple things with you guys. I know we're really, really limited on time today, so I'm going to kind of rush through a couple things really quick. But I want to read what Paul wrote to the church in Colossians about this very same thing. We're going to put it up here. It's Colossians 3:13. It says this: bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And so do we read? Let's read this last part one more time. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. When we forgive people who have hurt us, it reminds the whole world. It reminds the whole world of God's goodness and grace. And so it says it again. Paul talks about this again in Ephesians. We're going to read this next one. This is how important and how passionate they were about forgiveness of each other. It says this: be kind and compassionate to one another. Forgive each other just as in Christ God forgave you. So God's forgiveness keeps on forgiving, and that's what we talked about a little bit during communion. So throughout all human history, we've done our best to hurt God. But he continues to offer us forgiveness, and he offers us forgiveness through Jesus. And we talked earlier too, what did Jesus say while he's hanging on the cross? He says, Father, forgive them. Father, forgive them. God forgave the worst in each and every one of us. God forgave the worst in each and every one of us. So don't forget, what we said a moment ago is unforgiveness does cost you something. Unforgiveness costs us something. Just like it did in my relationship. It was distancing that, and it was weighing heavily on me. So it cost us something. And so even though he never apologized to me for any of the actions that took place when he was in my house, we still have to extend forgiveness to the people, because here's the deal. Our family can't be replaced through your family. And so I want us to do something different today. Let's close our eyes real quick. Everybody close your eyes together. And I want us to think really quickly. And I'm sure a lot of us, when we first started talking about this morning, already know of someone in our families in which we need to extend forgiveness to. And so I want us all to kind of reflect on that person in our lives that we need to forgive. And so whoever that person is or whatever they've done to hurt you, I want to encourage you guys right now. We're going to just take a time of silence. I want you guys to take this time to reflect and talk to God about them right now. And I'll close this out in prayer. God, we just want to thank you for giving us a place where we have to come and worship you freely and hang out with each other and have a good time. But God, I want to pray for each student in here this morning as they go back to their homes and they have various situations and different kinds of home lives and different things. God, I want to pray for them. I want to pray for their families. I want to pray for whoever this person is that each person needs to forgive. God, I want to pray that we all have that chance to experience that release and that relief that it is that to forgive someone that we may have been harboring ill feelings towards for a while. So God, I just want to lift up each student in here, and I want to pray for tonight as we go into life groups that something happens to that everybody in here experiences God or experiences you in some way. So God, we love you, we honor you, and let everything we do show that. It's in your